Let's do it. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.
What up? This is Combos with O, and you're watching Ask the Question. You know those questions in your head that basically stay in your head? I'm making it my personal mission to get you some answers. This week, I caught up with my girl, Kirsten Brady, the author of Shedding to Grow, available on Amazon. So click that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing, and drop a comment. Well, once you finish watching. Oh, and never be afraid to ask the question. With this video, I really wanted to talk about female privilege, right? And I want to talk about it because I think, because it's a male-dominated world, it sucks, but it's what it is. And I think, for me, I was thinking, we talk about all these privileges, white privilege, male privilege, but I don't think we talk enough about what female privilege looks like and if it's tangible. Because in my mind, I was thinking, what is a female privilege, right? I'm thinking, is it being dainty? Is it being able to get money out of a guy? Is it being able to go on a date and have a door held open for you? What does it look like? And so that's the purpose of this conversation, to really dive in there. So I think, first, do you think female privilege exists?
It's not something I've ever thought about before this video. I think that it exists in some ways, but in the same ways it's dangerous.
Talk about it.
So say for instance, I have the privilege of walking down the street and having someone hold a door open for me or having someone acknowledge me. In those same ways, that's dangerous. I'm put in danger walking down the street, having men talk to me. So it's kind of twofold.
Wow. I never looked at it that way. But because I think it's almost like the same hands that feed you could be the same hands that molest you,
yes,
in a sense, right? And so I think, so in that, how do you see women using their female privilege to their advantage? And if so, where? Outside of, maybe even if it is this, is it just with men? Is it in the workforce? Is it in just normal day-to-day? Where do you see that being advantageous of any woman?
I think it's mostly with men.
Okay.
I, even growing up, my dad would be like, if you want something free, bat your eyelashes a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you have that ability to have people see you in a particular way.
Yeah.
So I think that women use it a lot in getting men, getting money, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think so much in the workforce. That's one of the ways that I think it is oppressive and not a privilege. Yeah. That's where I see it.
Yeah. So do you think it, as it relates to other privileges, do you see female privilege reigning the same? Or do you
No. No. We're going to put female privilege down here in comparison to any other privilege.
So
most other privilege.
So let's talk about like stigmatized groups, right? So you have your LGBTQ, there's some more letters in there. You have women, and you have, that's pretty much right. Well, let's stop there. Do you think female privilege reigns underneath those as well?
In some cases, if you are in the LGBT community, you have sometimes the ability to pass, and you cannot pass usually when you identify as a woman. So when I walk down the street, you immediately know I'm a woman. When I walk down the street, maybe as an LGBT person, you don't know that. And so that's why I would say the hierarchy comes in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I never looked at it that way. I guess I always talk like that when it comes to being black. I'm always black.
Right.
And it's very apparent, so I think, wow. And I guess, but also I think there's a level of privilege that outweighs my race sometimes, in the sense of me being a man. So I don't fear walking down anywhere. I don't fear certain things that I can see a female fearing, right? And I think that's so interesting that's wow, I'm mind blown. Is there a way to, not is there a way, I know there's ways to change this, but how do you see that, where do you see starting that, or have we already started that? Where do you see continuing that in terms of, not necessarily normalizing female privilege, but I think taking away the discrimination in general, or maybe putting more of a, or maybe even giving some privilege to women that aren't oppressive, right? How do you think we could make that happen? And who do you think can make that happen? Is it men giving it to them? Is it women giving it to themselves? Is it?
That's a big question. I think that it starts with women giving it to ourselves.
Okay.
Even in like, for instance, the Me Too movement. Like, we have the privilege to now speak on our stories in a particular way that has not happened before.
Yeah.
So in spaces where we tell other women, like, your voice matters, and you have a particular type of voice that people are going to listen to, even if it starts off with, oh, you're beautiful, I want to see what you have to say. Now I can use my privilege to grab your attention and say something meaningful. And it's just up for the rest of the world to listen.
I think sometimes people get so lost, and not to stray away from female privilege, because that's what this video is about, but I think sometimes we get comfortable in our privileges. And it's hard to, like, if you pass, why take on the stigma if I'm passing, right? So, like, if you're talking about being a trans person, right? You're talking about that, and you're saying, I present as a woman. You don't know that I'm trans. Why would I then tell you to then be paraded or whatever the case may be, right? So I think largely when it comes to, like, my male privilege, why would I give that up? Like, I have no reason to.
Right.
Maybe I may, but, you know, the chance of me giving that up is slim. But I also think that people who are in privilege need to kind of take a step back from their privilege to then, I don't want to say reach down and pick up, but reach down and pick up.
I think that when you care about the world and you're a person with humanity, you then feel like you have a responsibility. Like, yes, I have privilege, but I have a responsibility, like you said, to someone who doesn't, to put my stuff to the side and figure out what's going to make this world a better place for everyone. Everyone doesn't have that type of mindset, but I think that with conversations like this, we're moving towards a space where that exists.
Yeah, I guess I really thought that this was going to be women have the opportunity to be dainty and, you know, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, open my door. And, you know, but I think that in that same regard, that can be a disadvantage if mismanaged. I mean, like, so sum us up. Female privilege exists or doesn't exist. And in it existing, tell me the good and the bad. Just sum it up.
Female privilege exists in the ability to be cared for, in the ability to be courted, in the ability to be seen. Everybody's coming to the rescue of a woman. In that same vein, the rescue is not always wanted, so we can use it as a crutch at times. And the rescue is not always positive. You know, there's a predatory behavior that comes in the rescue. So on the other side, female privilege sometimes is a burden. Wow.
I almost feel like I don't even want to snap you out, but I have to. Y'all heard her. I mean, wow. Really, I want to challenge the men watching this video to talk about how do you think you can reduce your privilege to then reach down and pick up as well, guys. And for the females, comment like where you've exhausted your privilege and where your privilege has been more oppressive than privilege. Once again, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Convos with O, and you're watching Ask the Question. Peace. Convos with O.